wanna do is drink beer for breakfast. All I wanna do is drink beer for breakfast.
6:42 now. And this is First Edition on AM 860 KPAM, and it is the First Edition Beer Geek with some very exciting news for Portland beer drinkers happening later today. The new Lompoc Tavern will open its doors on Northwest 23rd Avenue. This is where it all began for Lompoc Brewing. And joining the Beer Geek is Lompoc owner Jerry Fechter. Hey, Jerry, thanks for coming on the radio.
Pleasure to be here, Tim.
So it seems like it wasn't that long ago that we were toasting the last days of the new old Lompoc. Did the building go up that fast, or is it just my imagination?
A little bit of both. It took, I think they tore the building down about the third or fourth week of May. Our last day was about April 30th, and here we are about a year later reopening, and it just went super fast. It was just crazy how fast it went. The original estimate was about 14 to 18 months, and they did it in 12. So they definitely were motivated, as were we. So we're pretty excited.
How excited are folks going to be, do you think, when they walk through that door for the first time? Because you've done as much as you can, I imagine, to make it look like the old place.
You know, there's definitely, some new stuff. There's some old stuff. We kept a lot of the stuff inside, which I think a lot of people really appreciate. We kind of made a homage. The one whole wall is kind of old stuff and old beat-up T111 kind of was in the old pub. And then there's definitely some new things. It's in a brand-new building, thank goodness. That old building, as we know, should have been condemned. But this new building is awesome. We have huge windows. We have big slider doors. We have a patio out front. So it's not going to be the same, which is kind of why we switched the name around a little bit. It was the new old Lompoc, and now we're just kind of go with Lompoc Tavern, just because you can't really go, I guess you could go new, or new, old, new, and all that kind of fun stuff. So we just tried to simplify it. Lompoc Tavern, that's what we were before, and that's hopefully what we're going to be for now and into the future.
I have to ask, when you walk into the men's room in the new place, is that same old toilet still going to be there?
You don't even have to walk into the men's room. Pretty much, you just walk into the door and walk about 30 feet, and the lovely porcelain bowl is right there, right in front of you, along with the box that goes with it.
Oh, that's...
Minus the pull chain. It's going to be turned into a little bit of a planter box.
Okay, you just had to keep it, huh?
Oh yeah, it's about an 1895 piece of art / history, and that was You never want to say when you went to the old Lompoc, one of the things you talk about is the toilet, but boy, it certainly was for years and years, yeah. And so we just decided to keep it.
All right, and there's no brewery at the new place, right?
No, we're just doing all the brewing over at the Fifth Quadrant Lompoc Brewing Facility on Williams and Failing, and here it's probably a little bit easier and a little bit for the best. It's a little easier to manage one brewery, so. We're totally happy just with the one brewery and to bring beer over. And, we have 16 taps over here, and we're going to do our best to keep them all filled with all of our beers.
Now, you mentioned the patio that you have. That used to be one of my favorite places and a lot of folks' favorite places to drink beer in the sun. And it sounds like you're still going to be able to do that.
Yep. They recessed part of the building about 10 or 15 feet for us. So we have kind of a smaller covered patio out front of the building with big sliding doors. So even though we don't have the old patio, when the sliding doors are open and the sun's out, it should just be kind of almost like an outdoor living room, or in this case, an outdoor drinking space. So kind of like what I mentioned before, it's not the same, it's a little different, but we still have some of the same awesome qualities that we were known for from before.
Now, I know you guys brewed a beer called Lompocalypse for the final days of the new old. Are you putting anything special on tap to christen the new place?
Yes, sir. We made a beer called Resurrection IPA. It's right around 7.5%. I think it's got about 29 pounds of hops in it for a 15-barrel batch, which is a fair amount of hops. And I had one last night. It's very good, very refreshing. And that's the special beer that we made for the resurrection of the new old Lompoc into the Lompoc Tavern.
Now, with all those taps, I know at other locations you have like Sidebar and such. You will feature special beers every now and then. Are you planning anything special like that at the Lompoc Tavern, or is it just going to be the full range of Lompoc beers?
We're definitely going to have probably 2 or 3 of the Sidebar beers on over here. The barrel-aged beers, the beers we've aged for 2, 3, 4 years, whether it be in wine barrels, port barrels, bourbon barrels, brandy barrels. A lot of blends. We've been goofing around with a lot of fruit beers as of late. Peach, Pesh is peach is one of my favorites. We're going to have a few Peshes coming out this summer. We have to do a lot of stuff with sour cherries from Hood River. So we're going to have a little bit of everything on over here.
All right, and for the non-beer geeks who don't have the location of the new place memorized, where are you?
We're at 1620 Northwest 23rd Avenue, pretty much exactly where we were before, but we just have a different address. There is a 1616, and it's right next door, and it's not us. We're 1620.
Jerry, thanks so much for coming on the radio. Really appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you, Tim.
Jerry Fechter, owner of Portland's Lompoc Brewing. On the first edition Beer Geek, you can see pictures of the new Lompoc Tavern on my blog. Just go to kpam.com, click the first edition show page, and then click Tim's blog. They're also up on the Lompoc Facebook page at facebook.com/Lompoc Brewing and on Twitter at Lompoc Beer. And that is your first edition Beer Geek for Thursday, May the 16th.